So in this video, we're gonna compare taxis versus Ubers versus Lyfts, and then at the end of this video, I'm gonna share with you my favorite option out of the three. You might be thinking, wait, do taxis even still exist in New York City? And yes, I can promise you that at the time of this video, they do still exist, and they are a good option for people at times, and I'm gonna tell you why. So I do think that there are some pros of using taxis in New York City, and I'm gonna share them with you in this video. So now, when it comes to Ubers, I guess they're like the OG of the rideshare world, right? Now, Ubers are very popular in New York City, but they're definitely not the cheapest option here in New York City at all. The prices of Ubers over the past couple of years has gotten so absolutely out of control. Just honestly can't stand it, and I really don't take Uber that much at all because it's just so incredibly insane to get anywhere in New York City. Now, I live all the way downtown, so when I'm going uptown, and especially if I have to get somewhere very quickly, and I do work in real estate, so that's like all the time, I take a lot of cars to get uptown. And I hardly ever take Ubers. Definitely not my favorite. I'm trying not to be biased in this video. They're just very, very expensive. So I just don't really see any advantage of using them over some of the other rideshare options. Now, Lyft. So like 99% of the time I use Lyft over Uber because almost always Lyft is better on price. I think I can count on my hand how many times that Uber over the past year of me using these apps has been cheaper than Lyft because it's just so far and few in between that you find a cheaper Uber than a Lyft. Because of that, I use Lyft. Now, the thing with both of these ride-sharing platforms is that you're getting in a random person's car, right? So the person who is your Uber, Lyft driver, they're most likely it's gonna be their personal car. Now, in New York City specifically, I have gotten in some of the craziest cars. Honestly looked like a New York City crime scene. Like, I couldn't believe how horrible that these cars were and that they were even allowed to be on the road. So like, I definitely think that sometimes being in a cab, when you know that what a taxi mostly is going to look like every time that you get in one, sometimes a little bit better than getting into these random like Ubers and Lyfts. There was a time that I was getting so frustrated because it was like a season in New York City where I was just getting the worst cars ever, like one after the other, that I just like stopped taking both Uber and Lyft. I was like, I can't do this anymore, and literally tried to get like actual taxis. Like that was like the only thing I was using for a while because I was just so fed up with the cars. So it's been a little better recently, at least at the time of this video, but that's like something that I think that enough people don't consider. And for some reason, I always feel like I don't get, if I'm outside of New York City, I don't get these like horrible cars on Uber and Lyft. Like it's only specifically that I've had those experiences really in New York City for some reason. I don't know why. So overall, I guess if I had to compare all three options, the one that is my favorite, and that's probably like my go-to, would be Lyft. So like I said, it's been a lot better with the cars on Lyft recently. So there was a time where I was just going solely taxis, but now I have gone back to Lyft, given that a try. I hardly ever take Uber. And I guess second place would be taxis because I do appreciate a good taxi from time to time. So it would be Lyft, taxi for me, and then Uber, just because Uber's prices are so insane. I hardly ever take them, and I just don't think it's worth it. So that is my ranking of taxis versus Ubers versus Lyfts. Let me know in the comments which ones you always take, and I would love to make any other follow-up videos on any other rideshare apps that you think might be relevant for you guys.